Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our latest episode of Mornings with Mayesh. It's Yvonne here, and thank you so much for joining us. And happy September! Woo! Can you believe it? I'm here today with the talented Marie-Laure Coste Dujols of Jardin, Français, and we are going to be chatting about sustainability. I know this is a really great topic. I know a lot of you guys are really excited about this, and so I cannot wait to get started. But before we do get started, I just wanted to give everyone a few minutes to come on in, say hello, let us know where you are from, and also just a reminder to post your questions that you have in the comments. And as we're chatting, we'll cover them or we'll cover them at the end of the show. Also wanted to let you know that I will be posting the replay on our blog as usual, along with the show notes and our podcast. So be sure to look out for that. And if you aren't already subscribed, I'm going to put up our little join our mailing list up on the screen and put the link in the comments for you guys. There we are. Good. I'm just going to give everyone a couple of minutes to come on in, say hello. So excited. Again, we're going to be talking about sustainability with Marie-Laure, and it's going to be a really great episode. Super, super excited about that. What else do we have going on, guys? I wanted to make sure that you guys check out our website. I don't know if you have lately, but if you go to mayesh.com, you're going to see a lot of really great stuff. We have our amazing flower library that we've been working really, really hard to get pictures for. This flower library is more robust now because it has availability information on it. And I love it. I use it constantly, and I know a lot of our customers do. A lot of other people who aren't our customers use it. It's one of our most visited places on our website. And so I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. And also, if you aren't familiar with our product planner, check that out too. That is a way to kind of calculate stems. I know a lot of people, at least hearing whispers of more events and weddings that are going to be happening at the end of this year, which is really great news for our industry and towards the beginning of the year. And the product planner can help you out. So I'm going to just put mayesh.com URL there. And everything's up there, our blog, our downloads, all of our education, all the videos. So be sure to check that out. And today I have quite a few tabs open, so it might always take me a minute to post the link so I can find the tab that I'm supposed to be on. All right, so I'm going to bring on Marie-Laure, and we're going to get started. Hi, Marie-Laure. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Mornings with Mayesh. I'm so excited to have you on here and to talk about sustainability. This is such an important topic, and thank you so much.
Of course, and I am very excited to finally be doing this. Maria, who is watching, has been asking for this for a long time, so it's happening today. Welcome to our boutique in the background.
I love it. It's beautiful. Before we get started and get into the meat of our discussion, can you just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us your flower story?
Sure. My name is Marie-Laure Coste Dujols, and I'm the owner of Le Jardin Français, which means the French garden, a floral event and garden design firm in Atlanta. And we have a mother company in Paris, France. So my flower journey started a long time ago when I was growing up in France. I was born into the magical world of floral and garden design. My mother is a well-known garden designer just outside of Paris. She surrounded the house with rare annuals, perennials, shrubs, giving me and exposing me to a very unique selection of flowers and textured foliages from a very young age. I was making bouquets from the garden for some of her customers. So early on, I played an active role in the family business, Le Jardin Français France, which today is a bed and breakfast, nursery, and exhibition garden located on a 17th century estate 30 miles north of Paris.
Wow.
We grow everything following a sustainable and organic growing practice. At that time, I didn't see myself taking over the family business, and I tried to run away from the family business. And I attended a very prominent art school in Europe, l'École nationale supérieure des beaux-arts de Paris. So National Superior School of Art. And during that time, I was working part-time after school for Guillaume Fleur, a renowned Parisian boutique. And I was helping my mother with setup and production of floral composition and plant and floral stands for selling at the markets, the exclusively organic markets on Saturdays and Sundays in Paris. And so I was bathed into floral and gardens. After a few years of attending art and architecture school, I was offered the position of managing as a manager to manage Guillaume Fleur, where I was working part-time during my schooling. And I was really tempted to continue to finish my study in architecture. And at the same time, this was a really, really great opportunity for me. I was given a position at 19 years old that was really unbelievable. And I was really excited about the experience. So that's where the balance went back towards the family business. And I was working with iconic brands and fashion shows and Christian Dior, Louis Vuitton, Sony Music, Guerlain, and more high-end hotels. And it was a really, really beautiful experience. And I did that for 1 year. So I was then contracted by a special event and catering company in Atlanta to design a wedding in Albany, Georgia. I was 20 years old. It was in 98. I didn't speak very good English. I couldn't really make the difference between the beginning of a word and the end of a word. So it all sounded like a blur.
Right.
And so it was a really incredible experience. And I had to run a team of 20 floral designers for the production of that $2 million wedding. And after that event, the company who had hired me from Paris to come do this job asked me to come back and invited me to launch the floral design department for their catering company so that they could be a service event production company. So that was in 98. And in 2000, that was at the end of 98, that wedding. I worked with them for a year. And then in 2000, I founded my own studio in Atlanta, Le Jardin Français, US, to continue doing what I loved and bring the elegance and sophistication of French floral design to clients in Atlanta. At that time, Atlanta wasn't ready for a retail location like this, where it's more of a European shopping experience where people can buy flowers by the stem and have a French hand-tied bouquet composed on the spot. So at that time, I was working from my home studio, which I still have today, doing events and weekly accounts throughout the city. And again, 20 years ago, the floral industry in the South was very different. There were not even flowers in grocery stores. There were no flowers. It wasn't part of the daily life. It was more occasion based.
Right.
And so at that time, we were just doing all of these weekly accounts and working throughout the city. And a little bit over 10 years after being here, so in 2013, is when I opened the boutique at Westside Provision District, where we still are today. And we've grown to a team of about 15 in the floral and event side of the business. And we continue to offer floral, event, and garden design to clients across Atlanta, as well as design and terrarium workshops in the boutique.
Very cool. That's such an interesting history, coming from, Paris, France, over to here, settling in Atlanta, Georgia. Is there something about Georgia that made you want to stay? How did that happen?
I think I had no intention of staying. I loved my life in Paris. I had a great life living and working in the city and going back to the nursery and the countryside 30 minutes north of Paris. I did have a really good life, but this was a great experience. And one thing after the other, I started my business. There is a really great quality of life in Atlanta because it's a very green city. So you can encounter a bamboo forest in the middle of the city. We live on a 2-acre property, 10 minutes from the retail location. And it's like a little farm where we have chickens and a vegetable garden and greenhouses and the orchid greenhouse, studio offices where we produce our event and process all the product that comes to the boutique. And there is a unique climate in Atlanta where all the native plants that starts way up in Canada and the mountains there continue to grow all the way down to North Carolina or even South Georgia. And then in Georgia starts all the native plant material that can grow all the way down to South America. So there is a micro ecosystem that's pretty unique where you can find plants in the same landscape that you wouldn't otherwise. And
Right.
I find that very interesting.
Yeah, that's so cool. In your commitment to sustainability, you talked a little bit about that's just how you've grown up, and that's what, your family business believed in and how they operated. Um, and you brought that over with you to the US. Can you tell us some ways that you operate to minimize the impact to the environment?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything we do is inspired by the beauty and the cycles of nature. So the natural cycles of the season. So following the seasons in all of our design is part of our culture. Our company culture is based on our eco-conscious and respect for those cycles, and we definitely educate our clients by offering only seasonal product. Or mostly seasonal products because we still carry certain varieties of roses and hydrangeas throughout the year, but mainly local and seasonal product. Working with seasonal product and textured foliages ensures that they're not forced out of their natural cycle in a greenhouse, for example, and guarantees the best quality, but also with the least impact on the environment. So the impact of my business on the environment and or health and or lifestyle is very important to me, and definitely my drive for what we do here with the team and to educate clients, just like. Once you have tried an heirloom tomato from the farmer's market in the middle of July,
Right.
you can see the difference when you're buying from a supermarket in the winter. So in that same sense, we will have beautiful, local, incredible varieties of sunflowers. I'm going to talk about sunflowers because that's a really well-known flower that to many people is available year round. So we'll have it local in the summer, and I'll offer it for a big event at that time of the year, but we'll never offer it in the winter or even peonies, for example, even though we could get peonies from Alaska in the winter, I will direct my customers who have to have peonies. I'll educate them on what is just as beautiful or even more beautiful at the time of year that their event is at. So we have standing orders with farms that also have a green mission and follow sustainable growing practices. So that's very important to me. There are also growing varieties that have double hearts. So I think that it's almost like GMO vegetables where, you know, for a while, all of these double heart roses were discarded and then they became in fashion again. And now everybody wants them. But we have these varieties of very round, double heart, full heirloom. I call them heirloom, Old English variety roses that are produced by smaller farm, that are not produced in big mass. And I always bring it back to the tomato story, where you have 300 different varieties, but the ones that are produced year-round are very limited. So I pay attention to those varieties as well, and the farms that are growing certain varieties in, again, smaller quantity. So having the understanding and the knowledge of when to buy what from where definitely comes from my personal experience. We definitely share our knowledge and of how delicate our ecosystem is to our clients, especially in our terrariums, the recreating that micro ecosystem. It seems to spark an innate responsibility for our planet when we talk about it with our customers. We compost. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I have to drink water all the time while I'm talking.
And I feel I'm talking super fast as well, so I'm going to slow down. But
it's perfect. Everything's perfect.
Good. We compost all of our cuttings from the boutique, from our studio, and from our garden service division, and all of that compost is reused, whether in some of our container gardenings or even in my own vegetable garden. And we really recycle everything that can be recycled and maintain a healthy and balanced respect for the environment that way. And by showcasing daily, our displays in the boutique change really every day. By showcasing the splendor of what nature gives us, we try to help educate our community so they see how sacred our environment is.
I love it. I love it. When you are doing the composting, how does that work in your shop? Like, how do you guys keep everything organized so that way it's done maybe efficiently or maybe
So
or is it not? I'm just curious how that works.
We have 3 different bins on the work tables in the shop, which I don't know if we can see from here. No, because I'm putting my head. No, I don't think we can see the work table. And it's pretty quiet because we're doing this, so everybody's hiding. We have bags that we also reuse that are more those heavy duty, not paper, but fabric bags that are compost bags that every night at the end of the day, we take back to the studio, and we have regular trash, which we try to minimize, and then the recycling bin, which that we recycle on site. We're part of a program in our district where we make sure that all of that is recycled, including the glass that breaks sometimes. So, and at the studio as well, we have composting bins. And working with floral product, it's pretty easy. We're working, and every time we sweep, it's all green clippings. And so we take that to the studio, and at the studio, someone is in charge, or we have a rotation of dumping it on top of the compost. It's really, really, really big after 20 years. And we're collecting at the bottom, but we're not even turning it because it's so big. It's probably, I don't know, 150 feet long.
Wow.
A big ditch in the woods. So at the bottom of the woods, we go and collect that just super rich soil. We also use a green, very green type of mulch that's cocoa bean shells that we use in our plantings with that compost that decompose slowly and releases nitrogen and feeds the soil. So that's part of all the things we do to have a lesser impact on the environment.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. And for people that might not have somewhere to take the cuttings, there are companies, I believe, that come and collect that to do compost too, right? Have you heard of anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. There are programs in every city. There are farmers who are also interested in picking up compost from you so that they can have green and brown materials, the branches versus the more herbaceous and material, to be able to make compost themselves from it.
Right, right. No, that's great. I know you also mentioned that you encourage your customers to buy hand-tied bouquets, that they come in and select the stems, and then you guys do the custom bouquets. I know you guys use different types of systems to create those bouquets, so that way things stay together and look the way they're supposed to look. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can talk about that for sure. So we definitely encourage our customers to be part of our mission to reduce our environmental impact. And we offer what we call French hand-tied bouquets that have an auto-locking system. Whether we do it by hand or we do it in water, we intertwine the stems opposite than the flowers so that the flowers have room to develop and open, and so that they're displayed in water. And so we really invite and educate our clients to buy the hand tied that we wrap in paper and educate them on how to cut back the stems, change the water so they can use their own vessels, or so they can reuse one of the vessels that we have provided for them before they can even bring it to the boutique, and we'll place it in their vase for them. And that ensures that clients don't end up with a back pantry with 20 or 30 of our vases. And again, it's about recycling. A lot of our customers, all of our bouquets are given in a box with wax paper. And a lot of our customers even return the boxes so we can reuse the box for them. And I really love that.
That's really cool. And so, speaking of education, you shared with me an email that I am going to share with you. I'm going to do, let's see.
Mailer that we sent out for Earth Day.
Yeah, so that's what you guys are looking at right here, and it just says why choose hand tied, and you just go over everything. You want to talk a little bit about this email campaign and how?
Yeah, it's talking about exactly what I just described, where we really invite customers. It even has that funny picture.
Yeah.
Customers' garage. She has like this big double door closet or cabinet in her garage, and this is a true picture. I actually organized it a little bit and took some things a few garden tools out of it.
Right.
But this is truly her garage was more than, I don't remember, I think I counted them like 70 or 80 of our vessels.
Wow.
So those come from orchid composition and floral composition that she purchased from us. So we're definitely inviting customers to return these vessels or to buy flowers by the stem or a French hand tie that they can easily cut and put into their own vessel.
I love it. So cool. All right, let me.
And we don't use, of course, any wires in the bouquets. So the bouquets are also fully biodegradable. And I have one next to me, if this is the right time to show you the hand tied.
Sure. Yeah. Would love to see it.
Thank you. And let me see. So this is the way we display it in a glass bubble until this is what we would use for delivery. But we also take it out of the water to be able to wrap it so people don't take it in a vase. And I'm going to take it out of the water right now. We all know it's going to be a little messy. Okay, sorry, I can't find where the camera is. All right, so here is the swirl that we use, where the stems are in the opposite direction as the flowers. Sorry, I'm not good with the camera.
No.
See very well. Okay, let me back up.
Let me make you bigger. I think I can do that too. There we go.
Okay.
That might be helpful.
So that's the hand tied. And then, so it's easy to cut back, change the water, and place it again in the vessel. So this we wrap, that's what you see in the mailer, and that we have people take, thank you, that we have people place in their own vessel. So a big part of this, again, is education, where we teach them to cut exclusively with a knife and to change the water on a regular basis and keep oxygen in the water.
That's amazing.
Signature white and green hand-tied bouquet that we offer in the boutique.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I have a question from Debbie. And I'll change it back. Here we are. And here is the question from Debbie. She says, how do you pack those glass bubbles for transport?
We pack them in a box with wax paper. They're really snug. So that's an 8-inch bubble, and we use an 8-inch square box, 8 by 8 by 5 actually. Happy to show you if you want to see, but we really snug it in the box.
And then if they're not taking the vessel, then does the delivery person like wrap it then in paper?
So it depends upon the time of the year. Yes, we give and it depends upon the customer, because there are customers who just like leave their bubble at the front door, especially with the no contact delivery.
Right.
Or come pick it up, they return the same vase they already had, or we wrap it upon delivery, or we take it out of water when they pick it up and wrap it when they're here.
That's very cool. I've never heard of anyone doing that before, so it's just very interesting. I'm sure there are people, but I've never heard of anyone talking about
it. It's very European to do that, and I think I told you that story when we spoke a few weeks ago. So when I started my own studio, we were just doing events and weekly accounts, and then when we opened the retail location is when we started doing daily orders. And we had a few here and there, but our first Valentine's, I remember vividly, we were working out of the studio because the production was quite bigger than we expected. And all of our orders, we made hand-tied bouquets, and we delivered wrapped and tied bouquets to all these customers.
Right.
And we had some really upset customers, not understanding, how dare do you deliver flowers without a vase? What are we supposed to do with it? And we were shocked. This was a big moment when I started creating those designs in water directly. And we definitely learned from that mistake. What I love is that was 10 years ago, maybe.
Right.
Sorry, pop up on my screen. And today we have managed to educate our customers to a hand tied. They know what to do with it. They're addicted. And a lot of our customers as well have care about the impact of their lifestyle on the environment. And so it's a beautiful exchange for sure. But that was very funny. Very funny. So some of our signature compositions on our website are mostly designed in water. But you can all take them out of water and tie them if you want to take them without the vase.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. I love that story because yeah, who knew, right? And then you find out and then it was just a really great moment, I think, just for again being able to work on that education piece too. And I love the story so much as well because you said that happened about 10 years ago and it takes time to make change. And I think that's a really great lesson too is if you want to make change, just taking one day at a time, taking baby steps, having a vision for what you want to be able to accomplish, and just doing it, and then knowing that it's not going to happen overnight. So I think that's lovely, and that really is worth like celebrating for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I wanted to touch a little bit about you're talking about like working with seasonal product and I know you work with Maria closely. You guys love each other and my husband got to meet you as well. They went to go visit
Yay.
you.
That's when they convinced me to do this with you today.
Yes, yes. I love that they did. But what I wanted to talk a little bit about, and it doesn't really have to be about Mayesh or any kind of particular wholesaler or your like local people that you work with, but I wanted you to touch a little bit about like how long did it take you to get the knowledge to be able to work with particular flowers that are in season? We have a lot of new people that watch this show, a lot of people that haven't been in the industry in a while, and I know that takes time as well to like
Yeah.
get that knowledge. But do you have
Yeah.
any advice for people on how to do that efficiently?
Spend time outside and in gardens and the botanical gardens and your local gardens and understand which season peonies grow into and understand, what your climate is. It really depends upon where you are. If you're in Miami, you're going to have a lot of tropical product around. That doesn't mean that you can't work with, a scabiosa in the summer because it doesn't grow locally, but just a few zones higher in the US, scabiosa are available, or even in South America. I think that maybe on Mayesh website, there are availability. Oh, wow. We have a delivery of our local farmer at the same time live. I have to of our local dahlias and tuberose. And that's very funny. He says, cut, cut. But you can see this is Evan, who is delivering some amazing dahlias and tuberose and straw flowers and zinnias.
Love it.
Live. So talk to your local farmers about what they're growing. And yeah, I was saying, I think maybe on the website, but then it depends upon, I think there are some farms that will produce certain type of flowers throughout the year that maybe I personally wouldn't use certain time of years. Yeah, I think working with local farms, nurseries, botanical gardens would be a big education on what you can use when.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I know you were talking about our website. We do have, I just put a link in for our educational downloads. We have our seasonal product availability guide. It does include imports and things like that we're growing in the greenhouse. But I think just working with your wholesaler, especially if you're newer and you're just trying to get that knowledge, they're all of our sales reps and all of the reps probably throughout the country just have so much knowledge to share with you, know where things are grown and can help you point you in the right direction if this is something that you want to start focusing on in your business.
And for me, I look at northern markets as well, and I look at California. I look at the California availability list, like
Yeah.
every day. South America, and I know which farm is going to have what at what time of the year. I definitely don't buy Dutch product. until late winter when I need some early spring bulbs. So, but yes, looking at what's going on in availability list, there are amazing availability lists on the website for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then we do work really closely with all of our US growers from all over the country. Oh, those are beautiful. And
Those
I
are
just
the
love
dahlias
dahlias.
that Evan just dropped.
So
That
pretty.
actually were cut this morning. These are the zinnias.
I love them. When I was in Cleveland, we worked with a local zinnia grower. Love them. They're so
Yeah,
pretty.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so just talking with your wholesaler too and finding out what they can get locally. We like I said, we work with growers all throughout California, Oregon. I know North Carolina. There's Florida growers. We have some I think in Michigan. They're all over the country, but we work with them all. So we love them. We love our American grown flowers. Beautiful.
Good. And those are the local tuberose, which we just started getting a couple of weeks ago. And people are super excited about because of the really incredible scent.
Yes, beautiful. Thanks for sharing. That was a
Of
fun
course.
treat. Unexpected surprise.
Yeah, unexpected surprise.
All right, so I want to move on. We talked about your email. I'm just going through them. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So, can we talk a little bit about your recent project, the Green Burial Site? Because that's kind of how this whole conversation started with you, me, and Maria. Is she told me that you do this crazy things with watermelons, and that I have to talk to you, and now here we are.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So typically we don't talk too much about our experience with funerals. I'm not known for funeral work.
Right.
But however, this experience was exceptional. We were engaged to provide flowers for a service at Honey Creek Woodlands, a local natural burial ground on more than 2,000 acres at a monastery. And this alternative to traditional burials returns the body to the earth in the most natural state, lessening the impact of the burial on the earth. All materials that are part of the service, including the casket flowers, and were required to be fully biodegradable. So this was an interesting challenge for our team for a couple of reasons. We had to find an alternative to using a casket piece was Oasis, and for service pieces as well. And also because no cars were allowed on the grounds. And so all, including the casket, the flowers, everybody was walking to the burial site. So everything had to be, had to be able to be carried.
Very interesting. So I know we have pictures so that we can kind of walk everyone through the steps of what you did. And so let me share that. And I want to make it solo. So we're just seeing like the big picture, and we'll hide ourselves for a second while you're talking. So here's picture number one.
Yes, so we had, can I talk during the slideshow? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, so we had to look for a way to hold the flowers in place that would be biodegradable and hold water. And we had designed in boards in the past, but more from an aesthetic, seasonal standpoint.
Right.
Thought of using watermelon because of their high water content, and that they, of course, are biodegradable. Watermelons are 92% water and 6% sugar. This was an idea from one of our designer, but we had never done it before. So it was great for flowers. Watermelons retain their waters and provide hydration and longevity. I wasn't as concerned about longevity because it was already starting to be cooler weather in Atlanta. It was at the beginning, it was at the end of October or beginning of November. We also used these wooden farmer's basket that were fully biodegradable. So it was very fun to try to find watermelon that would match the basket.
Right.
But even the staples would rust and decompose. So we were able to build the composition in all three separate baskets. You might want to change slide. Not sure. Yeah. So that's where we removed the skin, also called the rind, of the watermelon, leaving the flesh, the red flesh, enclosed or trapped into the inner part of the rind. The white part of a watermelon is also called the rind, so that it wouldn't lose its water. And like any gourds at the end of the summer, it's really high in vitamins. I haven't made a lot of research, but I think that it also helps with the longevity of the flower. So you see here, we're poking, just like if we were to poke in the oasis, the stems,
Right,
are all hardier wood stems of fall foliage. And so allowing for these three pieces to be put together to create the casket flowers. And then here, these are pictures taken as we were building it, and we were building them close to each other the way they would be placed on the casket. And the idea of separating them was that so that they could be individually carried to the site.
since you guys couldn't bring a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here's the finished one. It's beautiful.
Yeah, here is the finish. Very fall, very gardeny, a lot of textured foliages and
Yeah. And then here's this one.
Yeah, and I think we made here, do we have a shaved water? I think we have a shaved water.
Yeah, let me hide.
Yeah. And here we made one as a test. I wanted to do the whole like cooking show where I have it made a week prior and then 3 days prior. I actually just made it yesterday, but this one is a little bit more shaved than what we did for the funeral. But you can use a different size watermelon and hold it in a vessel. And then here is the composition. It still is a little bit like the cooking show because now it is done.
Woo!
Yay! So that's
love it.
Same vessel with same size watermelon and kind of same shape or composition, even though they have a lot of textures, they're still very compact and full. So I am going to try. Yes, I got this. So here is the watermelon.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. So it's designed directly in the watermelon. And then you can use it as a hat as well.
Could use it as a hat. And then do you technically need a vessel?
No, you don't. This was just to hold the composition. But a watermelon isn't very stable. So for the green burial, we put it into thank you, Ali. For the green burial, we put it into the farmer's market basket. And for this today, we used it in one of our signature vessels.
I love it. So Serini, she's my dear friend that went to Ecuador with us. She says, this is very cool for sure. Debbie saying, wow. Tova Event says, love creativity. So beautiful. I love it. Really. And Serena also adds, it's amazing how we can conserve water and use sustainable methods. And that's the point. That's why you're here. I'm so excited to share this with everyone.
Great.
Tova Event says, how long does the arrangement last in a watermelon?
So, I really wanted to go back to the burial site to check, but that wasn't probably going to be the right thing to do for the flowers to be stalking in the woods. So, but I think it lasted quite some time because we actually made it the morning before, and we had to go. I delivered it myself, and because I wanted to make sure all the pieces were matching and put together. The next morning it was intact. This one we made it yesterday. It's also a very different season, and we're working with a lot more herbaceous plants. So we had younger growth to work with that need to hydrate a lot more, that drink a lot more than the woody type plants that we use in the fall that are already losing their sap when the leaves are about to fall. So
Right.
it depends upon the time of year. I would do it again for events. And for the experience, but I wouldn't expect it to last as long as our composition lasts in water, or hydrangeas last 10 days to 2 weeks in water, while and they hydrate a lot. So that's why I'm giving that as an example. Hydrangea and a watermelon, I don't think would last more than a couple of days.
Right, right. No, that's good to know. Oh, sorry, I muted myself. That's good to know. So interesting, all the different flowers. And I did get another question from Debbie, kind of along the same vein, and I'm not sure if you'll know because you used it for the burial site, but you might have an inkling. So she says, it looks like you used a lot of different material. Any stems that don't work well? I know you just mentioned hydrangea. Do you think there's other things that might not work well in that type of situation?
Yeah, anything that has that is not on a woody stem. I wouldn't put a dahlia or a zinnia that Evan just delivered from the farm in a watermelon and expect it to last very long.
Right.
But the roses really did beautifully, and again, I think that's after looking at the composition from yesterday. Sorry, somebody's at the door and is trying to get in.
It's okay. We'll say hi to them too. Hi.
No, it's totally okay. I just got distracted for a minute. So the roses held really well.
All right, very good. Love it. So good. If you guys have any other questions about watermelon sustainability, let us know. I did get a question in from Erica before the show started. She asked about arbors. So she said, my question relates to the creation of arbor or installation pieces ahead of time without the use of floral foam. I'm wondering about some techniques that could be used besides water tubing if I'm making a piece to attach to an arbor or other structure, but have to make it the day before versus on site.
So I would say it depends upon the size and shape of the piece that you're going for. But just thinking about it, I would use the technique that we use to create garlands, where we wire around a rope. You could already, depending upon as well what time of year it is, already purchase the eucalyptus or cedar garland. Use that as your base. And then I would twirl your foliage and your stems around it and tie it with either a cotton twine. So we use a lot cotton twine, but that's a product that I buy in France.
Mm-hmm.
And or wire. And then I would wet some sheet moss and use that wet sheet moss to cover the stems.
Very good. Very interesting. I have a question here from Serini. She says, do you think a cactus would work for this method? You've ever thought about cacti?
Are we talking about?
We're talking about the watermelon thing, not necessarily.
We're talking about the watermelon thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but they have very, 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 if not any stem. So I would put them on a stake and poke, like if we were to use a succulent, for example, stake them and then plant them into the watermelon.
Okay. And what about, do you think you could use a cactus instead of a watermelon?
Oh, sorry. Okay, the other way around.
Oh, that makes sense too. I mean,
no, I don't think
there
is enough of a water content in a cactus. I think got enough, just like an orchid bulb of like a grammatophyllum that's holding its water, just for that bloom. But I don't think that it would provide enough water for hydration of another plant.
All right, very good. Very good. Let me see. Do we have any other questions that we can go over?
But you could plant water tubes in a cactus.
Yeah.
It's not really sustainable, but I maybe one day I'll design a water tube that's biodegradable.
Yeah. And I don't know where would you get a cactus big enough? I guess if you have them growing around you, you could use them, right? I don't even know how that would work. I like Serene, if you try it, let us know. I wanna see it. Right? All right. It's already 2:51. Can you believe it, Marie-Laure?
Oh, wow. Okay.
The hour goes by very quickly. I can promise you that. I just wanted to share with everyone Marie-Laure's her website so you guys can see that too. Her Instagram so you guys can connect with her after the show as well if you would like. And Marie-Laure, do you have any closing thoughts that you wanted to share with everyone?
No, not really. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are more questions later on through Yvonne or anyone at Mayesh. We love working with you guys, and I'm so excited that we did this today. And I love educating our clients and other people in the industry about what we do, how we do it, why we do it this way. And so always happy to share my experience for sure.
Well, we really appreciate you, Marie-Laure. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing what you've done, how you used watermelons. That's so interesting. Just your business practices when designing. I think this is just really inspiring, I think, for everyone. So thank you so very much for joining us today.
You are very welcome.
Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you, everyone.
yeah, that's a wrap, guys, on today's Mornings with Mayesh. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Stay tuned for our next show. And as always, please feel free to email me or DM me with any questions that you might have. And of course, I'm always wishing you nothing but health and love for you and your loved ones. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.